Okay, so we just finished watching 2 videos, and I'll be the first to admit I forgot to give you one of the instructions, which was from the second video. What do you think the main takeaway was? Like, what do you think is the main message? So we were already chatting a bit. Some of us made comments like, hey, that was a plot twist. Absolutely, I did not expect some of the, well, actually you can see the guy and the girl here. I did not expect that was a transgender woman to start. Right? I did not think that they would pull an Uno reverse after they've become friends and play the video of them being on very opposite ends of the belief spectrum, right? And some of them, I'm gonna open the blinds, some of the people you could tell were a little taken back, like, oh, I've just become friends with this person, now they're playing this video about my political views. So what do you think this video, this advertisement, like, what do you think the people who made this are trying to tell you? What message are they trying to give? Any guesses? Yes? Yeah, that's part of it, right? You know, how much importance should you place on political views, right? If someone does have completely polar opposite beliefs, does that mean you can't be friends? Right?
It's okay to have a different belief than somebody else?
Not only is it okay, it might be necessary, right? Imagine if all your friends thought the same way as you did. Wouldn't you get a bit bored, right? You're shaking your head no, right? It makes conversation, life interesting when something different happens, something that you don't expect. Right? Would anyone else like to contribute what you think this advertisement is trying to tell us? I feel like one of you two is just itching to say something. You definitely, look, I can see the stress, you holding back your opinion. Okay. There's no right or wrong answer, kids. We're just discussing. Right? I think one of the main takeaways is, you know, you got to look at the process that they did. What's the first thing they asked the participants? What's the first thing we saw them do?
Build a bar.
Before that, slightly before that? A little bit before, right at the start of the video, they shared us, what did they share with us about the individuals?
What their political views are?
Yeah, they talk about their beliefs, first thing. Right, so right before you get to see them do the activity, you get to learn, you know, so like this guy in the blue was saying, well, no, trans people, that doesn't work. If you're born a man, you're a man. And the woman across from him is saying, well, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a transgender person. Right? We had there was that black girl and the white guy with the shaved head talking about feminism. Well, the guy was very anti-feminist. The girl was very pro-feminist. So the first thing we learned about them is where their political beliefs are. And then the next thing, as mentioned, is they start working together. Right? They have to build something together. Right? Which is more than just chatting. Like, a conversation is one thing, but if you have to go somewhere, you have to build something with someone and work together with them. You're building a bond, some sort of connection, a friendship, potentially. Right? Once they've managed to do that, and there was challenges there as well, right? Some people got the other person's instructions. And that's the first step of humility. Can you graciously admit that, hey, I have the wrong thing here, this is yours? And can you graciously accept that? You know, if you can't even accept your instructions that were given to someone else, how are you going to manage dealing with someone's different political or religious beliefs or views? It's going to be very tough. Okay. Once they managed that, they built them a bar and gave them a drink and then gave them an option. It's like, okay, well, you know where your political beliefs are. You've met this stranger. You've shared 5 adjectives about yourself, so you've got to describe who you are as a person. You built something. Now we're going to show you this video about how you two are different. Are you going to make the decision to stay seated, have a discussion with this person, and look at the things you have in common versus the things you are different about? Okay. Why are conversations about politics so challenging?
Sometimes it's like, obviously there's going to
We get into arguments or verbal fights because we're different. We can't see the other person's perspective, perhaps. Did you want to add back there as well?
Me? No, I was kind of just gonna say what she just said.
Okay.
Well, I mean, like, it's not, like, it doesn't hurt to have, like, some people in the political, they don't have open minds. So, like, that's why there's always so much arguments, because you stick to your own thing and don't hear anybody else out, type thing.
Okay, so if someone is closed-minded and they don't want to even hear the other perspective, let alone consider that maybe there's valid points, it makes it challenging to have a discussion, leads to an argument. Any of you ever been in an argument with someone before? In the middle of that argument, did you feel like you were being personally attacked? Right. Do you think that that relates? See, she was personally attacked by the speed at which you raised your hand, right? You didn't have to exchange words, you're already having an argument. Okay. Do you think that that feeling of being attacked connects to why it's so difficult to have a discussion about, let's say, politics or religion, these difficult topics? Do you think they're related? A little bit, right? So if you have a belief and you express that, right? Like, let's say, I don't know, you think that NHL is the best sport ever, and you express that belief, and then your teacher says that the NHL sucks and hockey's lame, right? See, now you feel attacked and you want to counter.
Just
No.
as in, like, you also need to be confident in what you're, like, saying, like, if you're, like what you just said, like, if somebody else has a different opinion, being confident enough to express your own opinions, difficult if you're feeling attacked.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of it that way. If someone is going at your belief system very aggressively, right, and essentially saying that you're foolish for this belief. So the climate change guys, for sure, right? The one guy was like, hey, if you believe in climate change, like, he's basically saying you're an idiot and you don't know what you're doing. Whereas the other guy's saying, like, whoa, we're not doing nearly enough to solve climate change, right? It takes a lot of courage for both people, right, for sure. Okay. We can move on to the next question. What do you think when you're arguing with someone and you can't see eye to eye and maybe you feel attacked? What makes it easy? What makes it easier to have that conversation?
To come to an understanding.
To come to an understanding. How might we do that?
I don't know.
Having an open mind, hearing the other person out before you start talking.
Yeah, having an open mind, hearing them out. Essentially what you were saying or trying to connect to is having empathy, putting yourself in another person's shoes, right? So for that guy at the start who was very anti-feminism, to consider, well, what is life like as a woman? Right? What challenges do women go through? Why might she feel this way? Or women in general? But the video explains something about him that might help us understand his perspective. I mean, the guy said he was homeless. He struggled. Like, who knows? Maybe he's been abused. Maybe he was abused by a woman, right? That's possible as well. And so having that empathy, trying to understand where's the other person coming from, being open-minded to individual perspectives. Okay, you had your hand up as well.
No, I was gonna say what she said.
Okay. So yeah, these two videos help to kind of launch us into this chapter. The first chapter is all about Canadian government and politics and looking at people's beliefs, their perspectives, and where they stand on the political spectrum. So I quite like these two videos. Thank you for watching them with me.